An hour? What am I supposed to do with the mad scientist for an hour?
You know, tamper in God's domain.
Torturing somebody with this the songs of the child group or the boy band Hanson is diabolical. Because I don't know what it is, but something about that song. And if you know, if you know what song I'm talking about, that little, you know, it was playing on the little, not the little, but the radio at work yesterday. Now that happily 90s upbeat child anthem is stuck in my head, but I feel and I don't know if I'm happy about it because it's making me think of my youth a little bit, or if it's like, oh my God, this song is actually really gay. What are your thoughts, folks? What are your thoughts on Hanson? Would you torture somebody with the sounds of Hanson?
I don't think I don't think it would be torture. They usually, when they do that type of shit, it's usually like loud metal music just to keep them awake so they can't go to sleep.
Yeah, no. See,
Bop will put your ass to sleep.
Fucking dude, death metal. Like I've never.
What up, Epic?
Death metal, like
not death metal, like heavy metal, like loud screaming. Guitar screeching,
like some grunge shit, like you know, that kind of thing.
It's not grunge,
or well,
that's death metal.
Yeah. That's what I meant. Yeah, no grunge. I know what grunge is. Trust me, I do. But yeah, you know, it's just crazy. I don't want to torture anybody with that. But moving on, Jared, I did another home project last week. Last week after you left. Well, not after you left, the following day. And speaking of the following day.
Yeah, the following day when you said on the podcast that you were going to send the description.
Dude,
before,
so you got me.
I know, I got you.
Oh, hold on. So this is it.
This is RJ making excuse number 5061.
This is going to sound crazy, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you left last week, after doing a phenomenal episode, okay, and you should always check it out, I was like, all right, I'm going to send Jared the podcast description right now. But I started eating, right? And I was like, all right. And I forgot. I won't lie. So I started gaming like I normally do. And then I went to bed like a normal person. I woke up Sunday, and the first thought in my head was, I'm going to send this description to Jared before I do anything else. So I sat up. I go use the restroom. Then my mom calls my name. And I'm like, yeah, what is it? And I come downstairs, and I'm like, oh, it's this, and that. And it slips my mind briefly. It's still floating in there. And she's like, hey, are you going to hang those blinds up today? So for those that don't know, I attempted to hang blinds. All right. Now, with my track record as of late, lately, I would say. No.
Every time we try to build some shit down here, you're not doing much building.
Well, I don't want to get in your way.
I do tend to get very fucking straight on task.
Well, and when somebody's building something, I feel like, you know, I'm not the second person there is the guy that holds the rod. You know, it's like, here, hold this, Dave. It's like, all right. And the other guy does like the work. It's like, we need to like build a brick house or something. Well, I wouldn't go that far, but we're not even going to go in that direction. But anyway, so the blinds.
Goes with these lofty goals, not even doing the fucking steps to learn how to build a house.
So I know that there's at least a foundation. All right. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to hang these blinds in my room. My mom ordered these blinds because mine are a little bent. How this happened, I don't know. Anyway, I got to take them down. Got to take them down. You know what? It wouldn't surprise me if my cat did that.
Yeah, y'all aren't here. The cats go wild.
Apparently, like flies around the house for all we know.
Mm-hmm.
What I was going to say is, so I'm like, okay, so I open the instructions. It says 15 minutes to install. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm giving myself 30 minutes, you know, just so I can read. And well, because I got to take the other blinds out too. So I'm thinking it's going to take me 30 minutes total.
I'm saying, bro, that's not a 15-minute job, but keep going.
Hear me out. So the blinds I had, they're very old. They have the old school, obviously, support beam that they hang off of. And the ones in my room, the brackets, they have these little faces that fold upwards to where you can just slide them out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh, this is easy. I literally said that to myself. I said, oh, this is going to be a piece of cake.
But you didn't buy the same exact brand.
No. My blinds were fine. There's nothing with the brand. It was the brackets, Jared. The brackets that were holding these blinds that were infused into the wood frame of where my window is. So there was 2 screws.
Oh, from the paint?
Well, not from the paint, but I guess from the age or whatever it is. So I got to take out 4 screws total. No problem. I go get a screwdriver, take the first one out. It's a little trouble. No problem. Get it. Second one, no problem.
No power tools. Okay, check.
Third one, no problem. I get to the fucking last screw, Jared. The last screw. It's fucking stripped, dude. Like stripped to no fucking end. And I'm like, oh my God, how the fuck am I going to get this thing out? Because one, it's at kind of an angle, and I wish I would have saved it, but I couldn't get a power tool into to the angle. So I'm like, all right, maybe if I do this. So I started kind of bend the frame a little bit so I could make some space. And it worked a little bit. But for about 25 minutes, Jared, okay, I went through like 3 different tools in order to finally get this thing out far enough to where I took some tweezers, like basically clamps, and started slowly turning it to finally pull this thing out. And you would think, you know, that they would be decent sized screws. Like, I'm like, oh shit, this thing's probably maybe like this big. No, dude, this thing was like this, you know, and it sucked. So I finally get it out. I'm happy. I'm praising everything that's, you know, good. Because this is like me just waking up.
Allah.
Yes, Allah. Alhamdulillah. Anyway, what I was going to say is I go to take the blinds, new blinds out of the box, right? And they're a ½ an inch too big. They don't fit in the frame of my window, Jerry.
I've never had that problem.
It was, well, one, I didn't order them. Okay, my mother did.
No, I'm saying I've never had the problem of it being a ½ inch.
Oh, my God. Grow up. This is an adult podcast. We talk about serious shit on here, and you want to talk about ½ an inch of space.
Did I say what's up, Epic? I don't remember.
What's up, Epic?
He said give his hands a workout other than his normal methods.
I don't know how to reply to that.
You can't really reply to it.
I don't think I am. We're going to move forward.
Okay.
So I'm standing there, and I'm like, oh, my God. I just spent like 30 minutes getting this one fucking screw out of my wall. I just beat the living hell out of the old bracket with a hammer. I did. It's dude, it's what I had to do.
Did you see my post?
About brackets and hammers?
No, about DEI, auto mechanics, or auto freaking fixing your car, basically, 101. If it doesn't fit or doesn't work, break out the rubber hammer.
Oh, the rubber. Oh, I did see that post. Yeah. I don't have a rubber one. It's real.
Well, I have a real one, too, but the rubber one, you don't want to be banging on fucking car parts with a real hammer unless it's...
You know, I would think that, you know, in that scenario, you're correct. You know, I would like to think so. So I spent all this time getting these blinds down and these brackets out of the wall, and then I can't even hang the fucking blinds up. So I had to return them, got my new blinds, and that is going to be my project for tomorrow. All right? So I just wanted to let you know that I wasted 30 minutes trying to hang blinds that don't fit.
Well, Epic says budget blinds will measure and get the right blinds and install them for you.
Well, I've already got the blinds. The damage is done.
Yeah, I know. So you not only
there's a chunk of wood missing from the frame of
did you waste
window.
time, you're also wasting money.
Not wasting money. I don't know how much these blinds are like $40, dude.
Oh, well, then you had to buy new stuff. You had to buy some brackets or something, right?
No, so the way they come with the blinds. These ones I can literally hang in the frame, drill them in, and then just put the blinds in. It's no problem. I don't think hanging them is the problem. Getting this fucking bracket out was like pulling teeth.
So do the holes go in the same place, or because that's going to be an issue?
Not necessarily. They are very similar-ish in the places that they're at, but not exactly in the same place. It's just all the design of how they the style of which they hang.
Okay.
Yeah. So I just wanted to let you know that that's what I did, and I just felt dumb. I almost called you. I was about to be like, hey, bring me a hammer or a mallet or your rubber mallet or something. Should have seen me, Jared. You would have just been laughing. You would have been pointing. You'd been like, look at this imbecile. That's what you would have done.
Another good hammer is a dead blow hammer. It's basically a hammer with it's kind of weighted, but it has like sand or something on the inside.
Yeah.
So when you hit it, it doesn't like vibrate. So
Okay.
if you hit something like a I don't know, like a hub on a car wheel or something.
Yeah.
It won't damage it necessarily because it's not metal. It's like a hard plastic and it has sand in it. So it's like when it hits it, it's just a dead blow. Like it's called a dead blow hammer for that reason. I guess it's less vibration.
Well, I mean, regardless, I was thinking to myself, as I'm trying to take this thing out, it was at such an angle that whoever put it there was either a professional, well, I know they were a professional, but is just a mad person. I don't know why they would have put it there. Made my life miserable, but that's okay.
Probably the people who fucking
Built a house?
Yeah.
More than likely, I would like to say.
Or
that.
the people who owned it. Maybe they did it later.
Maybe later. Do you know what we haven't talked about, Jared, which I wanted to bring up a few weeks ago when it actually occurred, and I don't know if it's obviously a super huge topic for you, or maybe it is. I thought it would be. But Katy Perry went to space, okay? Or, I mean, can you put the camera on me? Oh, it is.
It is on you.
Space.
Should be on you.
All right, that's what I meant to say by space. All right, and I just know that when this was occurring, obviously being the big space buff that you are, I literally thought of you, and I was like, Jared probably thinks that this is horrendous in every capacity.
100%.
And then when that was occurring, she came back and landed, right? Or they landed on the pod that they took off in. I know there's a proper term for it. I know it looks like a huge blue space dick, apparently. And
yeah, we've talked about those launches.
Yeah, no. We've talked about the launches, but just the overall reaction of Katy Perry saying she went to space.
Again, like I said, we talked about this before. They do go to the whatever. What's the word? I can look it up again. I forgot the name. I always forget the name of the name. Limit.
Anyway, so she comes back from the journey and I'm going to get this wrong. It's right before the Earth's atmosphere or slightly above it, where the ship goes to, or the shuttle.
It goes. They're still within the atmosphere.
They're still within the atmosphere.
They don't go that high.
Okay, and then you come back down.
It's a very thin part of the atmosphere.
But she comes back down and then kisses the ground and then starts talking like she was like, the final frontier, just like out there in Deep Space Nine. And I don't know. I just thought it was hilarious. And I just knew it was
Deep Space Nine. She was nowhere near no fucking.
Yeah, exactly. But just the whole reaction to like, I went to space.
No, all of them were acting. What's her name? Yale.
And they were like, we're so brave. Now, I will say, getting launched up that is brave. I would not do that. Well, I
not that brave.
Jared, it's kind of high. It's a little high in the air for me personally.
Oh, it's let's see. It is 100 kilometers or 62.1 miles. It is the Carmen line. That's what it's called. That's where they went to. Which is not actually. There's a picture, so let's see if we can put a picture up.
The Carmen line. All right, so that's a better visual representation of the atmosphere's layers that Jared's got here pulled up. And would you be able to enhance that to where we could see?
Enhance it.
Just the picture to see which each layer, like the name of it is possibly, or just so.
I can try.
Well, but the idea of getting in this shuttle is to really, I guess, just experience the feeling of going to space, but not actually going to space. In that respect, and so I still wouldn't be able to read that, but that's okay. There, what's crazy? There is actually a lot more layers to this than I thought there were. Just by looking at this, I feel like a fucking dummy.
I mean, it's not. If you don't study it, then no. Actually, no. Yeah, stratosphere is. Can't fucking see this shit.
Yeah, so I see the stratosphere, and then the one, I can't read that, but
the space jump happened at the ozone layer. Carmen line. Okay, so they went above where the guy jumped from the Red Bull thing. Remember that a few years ago?
Yes, I do.
So you can see there on the left where he jumped, which is just above the ozone layer.
Okay.
And just above the stratosphere. But then they're at the Carmen line, which is in the thermosphere.
Okay, I see it right
I think
there.
the thermosphere is the part that protects us from the sun.
The sun. But do you know what's crazy, man? Just looking at this visual representation of it is that I'm going to sound completely stupid, but I literally thought like the stratosphere was pretty much it. Like I didn't know that there was like 10 more, like 4 more layers on top of that.
That's because that's all you hear. You always hear like, "Oh, we're going to the stratosphere." That's not the highest.
Yeah. I did not. I learned something on this podcast today.
Well, that's the whole point.
Yes, finally. 285 episodes.
That's not true because I've fucking said shit. Oh, the Aurora Borealis is up there around the top of the thermosphere also.
The Aurora Borealis.
So what that is you know what that is? Northern Lights?
Yes.
Do you know what it is?
No. I'm going to say no just for educational purposes.
Basically what that is the particles from the sun. So we have this thing called a magnetic field around the earth. Magnetic field protects us from, I can pull that up too. It protects us from particles from the sun, like radiated particles that could be harmful to communications. That's why you always hear if there's like a solar flare that happened, like, be careful or beware. They could knock out these communications. Like it can knock out all that shit. But anyway, for the most part, we're protected from those particles, highly charged particles, by the magnetic field. But what happens is in certain parts, when those particles hit the atmosphere, which is what we were talking about there, the thermosphere, what happens is it starts to interact. So that's when we start to see what the northern lights are. That's the magnetic field doing this thing with the particles. The particles in the magnetic field are interacting.
I gotcha. Well, the whole, what's fucking crazy, dude, is that all these blinds led to the point that, so let me get back to the original story of that. Jared was correct last week when he said, hey, Artie's going to text me at 10 p.m. tomorrow night, the description of this podcast. And so after I'm sitting here kind of staring at the giant hole in my wall now, where my blinds used to be, I actually kind of like it. I'm not going to lie. The sun comes in. I actually kind of like it. But anyway.
Well, I mean, it's good for you, especially early in the morning. You get that initial charge of
vitamin D, sunlight.
Yeah, all the above.
Yeah. So I sit down, I start cleaning my room, I do the whole spring cleaning thing, I dust, and I'm like, all right. And then my sister is in her room, and she's like, hey, I don't know what to watch. I was like, hey, man, it's May 4th. I was like, why don't you watch Star Wars or something? And then she was like, I don't know. And then like 20 minutes later, I hear her. And I'm like, do I want to go over here and sit down and maybe watch the first couple of minutes of this?
You're getting all the D now, huh?
Yeah, yep. Big D. Anyway, so I'm getting into, the...
Real quick, while you're doing it. Northern lights or aurora borealis are caused by charged particles from the sun, specifically electrons colliding with atoms in Earth's upper atmosphere. Just as I explained.
All right.
But carry on.
All right. As I carry on, speaking of the atmosphere, so I'm like, all right, I go in, I'm pumped that my sister's watching Star Wars because I want her to be hip, She's watched it like kind of ish, but she's not into it like me and you are. And so we watched the first 10 minutes. She obviously turns on A New Hope. All right. And I'm like, all right. I was like, man, I haven't actually sat down and watched it.
Has she seen it before?
She's seen a New Hope, but the other ones I feel like she watched when she was real small, or just.
So I tell you right now, some very interesting content that I see on TikTok is people reacting to Star Wars for the first time. So, like, if y'all want to go through all the movies, I would suggest recording her. I mean, you're gonna have to edit it, but record her while she's reacting to the movie, and then you can post it. I'm telling you, like this one chick, I forgot her name, but I followed her through the whole series of her watching from the beginning. She asked people like, "What? How should I start watching this?" And everybody told her, obviously.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best conversations you can have with anybody.
Yeah,
I really think so.
You start with the originals, and then you go to the prequels, and then I think everybody suggested that she go to Rogue One.
I feel that would be the best way to go, honestly.
Yeah, because then that way okay, you know the story of what happens, and you know the pre-story, and then, then that's the other thing. Now she's on Andor, so she was like, I have to watch the first season before I can watch the second season. I need to come across it again. Now that we're talking about it, it's going to come up on my phone again.
And so we sit down. I'm watching the first 10 minutes of it where they're invading the ship. Vader comes in, makes his grand first appearance, and I'm giving little tidbits of history to my sister. I'm like, oh yeah, this and that, and I was like, back in the 70s, I was like, I was actually talking about the effects. I was like, a lot of things.
Let her watch the movie.
Yeah, I was very quiet. I did not speak other than the first few minutes because that's all I thought I was going to sit there and do. Mm-hmm. Instead, 5 hours later, okay, this is what happened. So I sit there, and I'm like, you know what? I was like, here, I'll watch a little more of it. So I end up watching all of A New Hope with her, right? And I still love it to this day. It's great. It still makes me feel like a kid. And I was like, and then she was like, oh, are you going to watch the next one with me? She was like, what's the next one? And I was like, it's The Empire Strikes Back. I was like, it's arguably the greatest sequel of any film ever made. And I was like, besides this, and this. And then I was getting real passionate. I was like, oh, man. I was like, I got to write this description, right? Like, literally. And then I was like, well, I got to play. I got some guys waiting for me online. I was like, all right, I'll watch a couple minutes of this, right? Yeah, that didn't happen. So we're watching The Empire Strikes Back, which, again, is a phenomenal movie. I forgot how awesome that movie is. And I'm going to tell you something. And this was a cool moment. And I'm glad you brought up the whole
We'll wait till you drink your fucking ginger ale.
I apologize. But to where you were saying record things, so we're obviously watching Luke and Vader battle in the Sky City and everything. And then the whole sequence where he announces to him that he's his father, is happening. And then my sister's like, I think she's known that her whole life, but she's never really seen this scene.
If you've never seen this actual scene like you said, the scene, if you've never seen the movie, and you get the context of what's going on, like when you're watching the movie, instead of like, I don't, and that I guess that's why I'm really liking Andor. I know we're not to that yet, but that's why I'm really liking it, because it fills in a lot of questions that we didn't get from, or a lot of answers that we didn't get from the originals or the prequels.
Yeah.
Other than Rogue One. But it still even fills in, like all you get from the originals is like, oh, there's this war going on. There's an empire, and then there's a rebellion. How did the fucking rebellion start?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Where is like the one piece of information? Key piece.
How did we get to
piece.
How did this war start? Well, that's where the prequels come in. But now Andor is answering a lot of stuff aside from the Jedi and the Sith.
And so we ended up watching that, and it was like a really cool Big Brother moment. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And we finish it up, and she was like, oh, what's the next one? And at this point, it's like, damn near 7 o'clock. And I'm like, all right, I can't watch Return of the Jedi. She was like, Return of the Jedi? And I was like, yes, Return of the Jedi. So I told her, I said, here, hold off. Because
arguably one of the best.
Dude, that movie's fucking awesome, too.
Third movies. I don't know.
So I said, here, let's do this. I said, since there's a wrestling event on tonight, I'm going to have the projector up, as you saw when you came in. I said, here's what we'll do on Sunday. I said, since it's Mother's Day and everything, I said, we'll get up, make a breakfast, and I said, we'll watch Return of the Jedi, and I said, we can start some of the prequels so you can see some more. So that's kind of our plan for tomorrow. So I'm looking forward to watching it, because as much as I know these movies and have seen them, I haven't watched them in a while. And watching them just after a period of time is still just so fucking awesome. It's so great.
No, again, like I'm waiting. Same thing with me. Like I've been, like I need to go back and watch the first season again, because I think I missed a lot just because I was uninterested. But the second season of Andor, like I had the last 3 episodes, I went back and watched the last 2, just because they were that good. Now, so I'm waiting for this last 3 to come out in a couple of days, so I can watch that, and then once that's done, I'm gonna watch Rogue One again, and then I'm gonna watch A New Hope, and then I'm gonna watch Revenge.
but that's the way to do it, and it's crazy because I was telling my sister, after the movie's are over, like when the credits are over, and I was like, well, this is why this is like this, and I was like, and I was telling her, I was like, there's like 50 some odd plus years of history and like story here.
Let me ask you this. At what point do we stop telling people to watch? As us being older Star Wars fans, at what point do we stop telling people to watch them the way we watch them? And at what point do we start telling to just watch it in chronological order? Because then there's so much other stuff. Like you got the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
And then you got Rebels. What's the other one? Bad Batch, which I've seen all of Bad Batch. And I've seen some of Rebels.
The new one's out. I was going to start because
I already started the new one. I forgot the name of it. But
yeah, it's I was going to watch it when I was done with Andor. Because I've been trying to keep up to Jared Lee's pace of television content.
It's not as hard as you think it is.
Oh, I'm not saying it isn't. Or that it is. That's what I meant to say. But regardless, I'm definitely checking that out. But that's a good point. So I'm glad you brought that up. Because I was trying to tell my sister, the reason you need to watch him this way is because like we're the old farts in the back, like this is how it was made. You know, like this is how. But at the same time, I think to keep people interested, the newer generation, I don't think there's anything wrong watching them 1 through 9.
Here's the other, well,
and, the filler in between.
Here's a counter argument to that. Younger people, when they watch it, they're gonna see the prequels, and they're like, oh, that looks, blah blah. It still looks old to them, but it doesn't look as old. So then, by the time they get to A New Hope, then it's gonna be like, wait, what the fuck is going on? But I think you have to kind of watch it that way.
I feel the same way. But if you had to, I wouldn't be mad at somebody. But the only thing I don't think would resonate as well is I just don't think it would be nearly as impactful. Like, dude, I think growing up watching,
I'm telling you, seeing people react to it, and then they watch, like that lady watching her. Like I watched every one of her videos while she was reacting to it, just because I was like, oh, it was like watching somewhat, like, I don't know how to explain it. It was like experiencing someone else feel what I felt when I saw them.
Yeah, for the first time.
If that makes sense. Not so much the first time, because the first time I was a kid and I didn't know what the fuck was going on.
Pew pew lasers.
Yeah, that's all I give a fuck about.
And fucking sand speeders.
And lightsabers.
Man,
that's the only thing I gave a fuck about.
Yeah, my sister really did like the Ewoks, though. She was like, oh, they're so adorable.
Women love Ewoks.
Yeah, she was like, what are they? And I'm like, no. I was like, they barter with people. And I was like, they might steal stuff. That kind of thing.
Mm-mm.
And then...
those aren't the Ewoks.
I know. I was just teasing. I was talking about the sand people.
Those aren't the sand people.
There's the sand people that just live out in the dunes that attack folks.
Those are the sand people.
Yes. The Ewoks, they're more barterers than anything.
The Ewoks are the bears.
The Jawas. The Jawas. I'm thinking of the Jawas. I'm sorry. I'm thinking of Return of the Jedi because I'm going to be watching it tomorrow. What about you guys? Epic. You gotta do this stuff. Would you encourage somebody to watch the films in the order that they were released, or in numerical order, so it would make sense for the younger generation?
No, it's just I think it's more about the story than anything. I can't. Epic, if you're still here, can you get that, please?
Are we being bombarded by?
No, it's just some stupid thing, and I can't, for some reason, it's not letting me change it.
But that's the beautiful thing about Star Wars, though. Before we wrap this up, and what I was gonna say is that it's really cool. I'm actually looking forward to sitting down and doing this with my sister tomorrow. And you know what's crazy? Revenge of the Sith just came back out in theaters not too long ago for a limited time for its 20th anniversary.
Yeah, I was supposed to go, but somebody told they didn't really get in contact with me directly.
I got you.
So I missed the message. And I was supposed to go. Yeah, around my birthday, it was like the next day I was supposed to, or whatever day, I was supposed to go see it. And I do want to see it. I saw it in the theater the first time, but I did want to see it again in the theater. That would have been. I don't know if it's still there or not. I doubt it. But
it amassed like a really good number of money over the limited time that it was in theaters. And I just thought that was great just to see that movie being 20 years old still did a killing in the box office, because it's a fucking badass movie, dude. I mean,
what do you mean? Like this time when it came out, or
this time, yeah.
Well,
20 years later, and it's like, oh man, this had several $1 million invested in it by folks over the weekend, which I just still think is really cool, because you can watch it really anywhere now.
How have you been friends with this guy for so long?
Who, me?
No, Epic.
Oh, how have I been friends with him for so long?
Yeah, this dude said he's never seen Star Wars, so he can't add any input.
Well, I tell him all the time. Nobody listens to me or takes me seriously. I was watching Seinfeld before you got over here, which is a really funny show.
This is what you get, Epic. It's a damn shame.
Yeah, you got to watch Star Wars, but George Costanza was basically saying, "Oh, nobody takes me seriously," and I was like, "Oh my god, that I don't know." I was like, "That feels like me." And then his boss fired him, and then he was going to put a Mickey in his drink, and then it's I appreciate that show now as an adult, but anyway, so moving on from Star Wars. So last week we talked about.
I'm not done. What about Andor?
Oh yeah. You mean the incredible show that's currently airing and streaming on Disney Plus?
Yeah, what episode are you on?
I'm on episode 7.
Oh, fuck. Never mind.
Yes,
right,
I know.
We're not talking about Andor then.
I know. Trust me, dude. I scratched and clawed. Dude, I was watching it as I was bathing, if that makes you feel any better. Okay? I know that sounds weird.
I don't know. I'm telling you, you're missing out. And you better not be doing no extra shit when you watch these last two. I'm telling you.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing any extra shit. I'm actually.
You just said you were bathing.
I was bathing. It was like the first 10 minutes. It was very quick. It was very brief. But I was just trying to.
You want to be fucking fully focused. That's all I'm going to say about that.
Well, I got my big projector up on the wall, so that's what I got it there for too. So I'm stoked for that. But we will talk about it in full, in depth, and all its excellence when it's finished, because I'm excited for it. But what I was going to get into...
Yeah, we could do that. I'll put it on my TikTok.
What we could get into
Actually, you have a TikTok, don't you, Epic? We can put it on your TikTok.
Last week, we were talking about the delay of Grand Theft Auto 6, okay? Which was like, bummer.
Why are we talking about it again?
Because they released a second trailer.
Oh, yeah, I forgot.
Yeah. And so, you know...
That was Tuesday.
That was on Tuesday. So literally a few days after we talked about it, and that news is released to the world, Rockstar drops the second trailer for Grand Theft Auto 6, and it looks incredible. It looks absolutely incredible. Why do we think? No, not me. I'm not talking about me. I don't let them cook. Just let them cook. Because
but some would say they've been cooking a little too long.
I'm going to tell you, just based upon that alone, whether it's cinematics or in-game footage, because
I think it was a mixture.
Yeah, that's from whatever.
And then what people don't realize, people don't get how Rockstar works. I think a lot of these gaming companies, not all of them, but a lot of these gaming companies try to reinvent the wheel every time they make a new game. Rockstar, they basically build on top of what they already have each time, and we've proven it with all the Grand Theft Autos.
Yep.
Red Dead Redemption.
You can think of Manhunt and their lesser known games like Bully and things of that.
Yeah, but Bully. Well, maybe they did. I don't think I played Bully, but maybe they did build upon that. That's where we got Grand Theft Auto, the open world, and all. Anyway, my point is, they've definitely used what worked well, from what I can see anyway. what worked well in GTA 5, as far as like you can do cinematic stuff in GTA 5, and all the stuff they developed throughout the 10 years that came for like the online shit, all that stuff. Not to mention, they got intellectual property and codes and engines that they already have for fucking Red Dead Redemption 2, which was a gorgeous game, and people still say that's a fucking gorgeous game.
It's graphically probably one of the greatest big games made, period. The little details in that game, since I'd sunk so much time into it not that long ago, obtaining my achievements, the little details in these games that we overlook are fucking crazy, dude. Like, I'm talking about the sway of the grass and the wind, the way the dust kicks off as you're walking over things.
You still haven't played Ghost of Tsushima.
Because I have an idea for that, as crazy as that sounds.
Okay, well, we don't have to switch.
But the graphically, you know, I already knew this game was going to impress, but now I already know in my soul that they are not going to reinvent the wheel. They're going to set the bar in the standard yet again.
And the other thing I think
they just are.
People are discounting is, did you go to the website, first of all?
Like the Rockstar website?
No, the GTA 6 website.
No,
they have an entire website that shows you. I'll pull it up.
Yeah, here, go ahead and pull it up. Because, no, I did not. I saw the trailer. I fucking did like 10 cartwheels. And I was just like, the nerd that I am. Because why not? All right, so Grand Theft Auto 6 Rockstar. There's an official website for it. I did not know this. Good old Rockstar.
You got to watch more Twitch, buddy. I'm not going to. That's the trailer. I'm not going to play the trailer. If you want to see the trailer, go. Why I posted it on. First of all, I posted it on the Mad Scientist Lab page within like 15 minutes of it coming out. So if you missed it, it's on your own. It's on your own.
So Vice City, USA. Jason and Lucia have always known the deck is stacked.
Hold on, let me switch it so everybody can see.
Oh yeah, sure. Deck is always stacked against them, but when an easy score goes wrong, they find themselves on the darkest side of the sunniest place in America, in the middle of a criminal conspiracy stretching across the state of Leonida. Okay, there we go. Forced to rely.
So white.
I'm sorry. I can't help it. This is what I like.
Leonida.
Forced to
jalapeno.
Jalapeno. Oh God, my mom.
Quesadilla.
I don't say that. My mom calls them jalapenos. My mom calls them that jalapenos.
That's Pennsylvania.
Yeah, jalapenos.
That's totally what Pennsylvania.
Yeah, that's how you want a jalapeno. Oh my God, forced to rely on each other more than ever if they want to make it out alive. Okay, so that's kind of the precedent for the outline of the story.
Hold on, let me scroll back up so everybody can. Okay, so the trailer's here. I'm not gonna play the trailer. If you want to see it, either go to the Mad Scientist Lab page or go directly. It's YouTube. It's on Rockstar. It's everywhere.
And while you're saying that, within one day, amassed 425 million views, more than anything ever before it.
Because the first one already hyped everything up.
It's crazy. This game is going to change gaming as we know it.
And if you've ever been to Miami, that looks pretty much like Miami. Right there on the fucking strip.
I showed the trailer to my mom, okay, because that's how pumped I was. I was like, Mom, you got to see how this game looks, okay? And she was like, that's a game? You know, like old folks say,
exactly.
That's a game? Like, yes. So Jason wants an easy life, but things just keep
getting read everything.
Oh, okay, I just thought that's what you were setting me up for.
No, I was
I'm not going to lie.
Just showing what we were talking about, the graphics and everything.
It's unreal, and I know that there's tiny little...
Look at this shit. This might be a cinematic scene, a cut scene, but bro, that shit looks almost fucking real.
It's damn near, it's scary how damn good this game looks.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to even feel like we're playing a video game? That's what I want to know. Are we going into the simulation?
I saw a funny like little skit today on I guess it was TikTok, might have been Instagram, but they were like, man, this game looks so real. And the guy's playing it, and it shows him playing it, watching it on TV, and then the guy comes and opens his door, and it's the guy that he's playing. He was like, don't touch me. I don't think you're supposed to touch me. Bro, it was so good, and like they ended up both being in the game and somebody else was playing them.
Dude, it's a testament to modern technology and to give Rockstar credit where it's obviously very, very due. I don't have to know anything else about this game until we play it.
That's fucking Miami.
This is crazy. This is crazy that is an in-game like footage, like graphically. It's insane, dude. I am fucking beyond ecstatic for this. I know that it's going to do. I heard a rumor that they're going to have their like 3-on-3 basketball teams like in the game, like online and all sorts of shit.
Oh yeah, I'm telling you, there's a reason they bought CFX.
And since we're talking about the graphics, apparently the trailer that was just shown or that was just released was on a base model PS5. Okay,
Exactly.
Base model. We're not talking about the PS Pro. We're not talking about a high-end PC.
But it could have been cutscenes though.
Regardless,
and it's not coming out for PC right away. It's probably gonna be like a year before it comes out on PC.
And then, like most people,
which means everybody wants to play on PC and wants to role play. Guess what we're gonna be doing, guys? We're gonna be buying the game again.
we're gonna be. It's
which I don't mind because I know I'm gonna get a lot of hours out of it.
This game is gonna take over our lives. It's gonna do it again.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
I am beyond excited to experience this, and then just like any major trailer that comes out, the day after, it's like, hey, here's 287 Easter eggs that we found in the trailer. And I didn't go into too many videos like that, but some of the effects in the game, like where he's walking out of the convenience store with the 6-pack, you can see the alcohol splashing back and forth in the bottles, dude. Like,
oh yeah, there's somebody posted a picture. They zoomed in on the bottle. It might come up here in a second. They zoomed in on the bottle, and you could see the bubbles in the beer bottle.
Yeah, nuts. like whatever they were smoking, they were like, "Hey, we're gonna make this as a hyper
Look at this
real."
shit.
Yeah, that's a fucking video game, dude. No shit, dude. Honest to God, I wish my dad was alive to see this shit because it would blow his mind. It would, like, these are virtual cheeks that we're looking at.
Y'all can't see because I'm in the way. Good.
Well,
it's good for YouTube.
It is good for YouTube, but if you can see your legs right there, you get the drift. All right. Yeah, just look at this. I am beyond excited. I know I've said it like 40 times, but I wonder how it's going to control.
The other thing is people were noticing a lot the reflections and everything and how like it goes along. Like if this car was moving, you would see the reflection of the shit on the other side
instead of just base reflections that are like built in just to look like reflections per se.
Yeah. Like cheap ray tracing, but like texture, like good texturing, and it's I don't know.
I would like to see
a lot of this is probably AI, to be honest.
I would want to see like portions of how they made
or
this,
like
dude.
The newer AI, because fucking video games have always been using AI,
or some sort of cinematic style to present itself. But geez Louise, man. I mean, look, just the gray in his beard, the wrinkles on his face, the gold in his chain. I'm just beyond excited.
The Florida Keys in this motherfucker.
The game, the map is going to be huge. I can already tell. I mean, just look at it from here.
Look at this shit.
Dude, there's sea turtles. Oh, my God. I know that's going to be an achievement. Collect a sea turtle. I'm doing it.
Why would you collect that? They're endangered species, you fucking...
Well, I know there's going to be a mission with sea turtles. I already know.
You godless human being.
I'm not a godless human being. I like sea turtles.
Yeah, well, why are you collecting them then?
Well, in a video game.
Have you ever seen one in real life?
I've seen one at a museum. Not a museum. An aquarium, excuse me.
Oh, no. I've seen one in real life. Actually, so I was in, where was I at? I was in St. Croix, one of the U.S. Virgin Islands, and we went to various beaches, and it was just after the time where the turtles. If you've grown up and you watch these documentaries on how sea turtles come up onto the beach, they lay their eggs, they stay there, they go back into the ocean, and then after however long, they hatch, and then they make their way to the sea. Not all of them make it, but a lot of them try it. I got to see those actual like places where they do, because they shut down the beaches in certain places when the sea turtles are coming to do that shit because they're endangered.
Yeah.
So I'm going down. I'm on these beaches and I'm like looking around. And I'm like, yo, that's where a sea turtle laid their eggs because you can see it, and then you can see how they made their way back out to the ocean.
What with their little fins and everything?
Yeah. You see all that shit, and then sometimes you can see like the little striations. It depends on if any humans have been there yet, but you see the little striations of like when they make their way out to the ocean, the little babies, and it's like it's cool just seeing it on the beach.
Well, you're witnessing Mother Nature really in effect.
And if you don't know what it is, then you can't appreciate it.
Yeah.
But then we went from St. Croix to this island not too far. It's a very small island called Buck Island. And went out there, saw the same thing. But on the way out there, you looked out, and there was a little sea turtle just fucking swimming along. And I'm like, hey, look, there's a sea turtle. And the person I was with didn't get to see it. And that's all they wanted to see. And I was like, well, you got to be paying attention.
Well, yeah, no, paying attention. Well, dude, see the seas. That's fucking cool, though. I mean, yeah, they're just chilling. They're just trying to, do their thing. And
I was like a literal sea turtle, just
dude, watching Mother Nature like is pretty fascinating if you think about it. The older I get, not that I watch it in any capacity, but I see why people get pulled into like the Nature Channel and things like that. And
I'd rather do it for real.
Yeah, no. That I would think seeing it in person would definitely be the best way to experience it. But I see the
not like lions and shit. I don't want to see.
No. I'm not saying, oh, hey, let's go check out this giant fucking man-eating predator.
If you go to fucking like Africa and you can do those tours, and I've seen a bunch of videos on TikTok where they're trying to scare the elephant off with the elephants like trying to, because elephants will charge the fuck out of people.
Yes, they would. Dude, well, put it this way. When I say experience Mother Nature, I mean from a safe distance, if that makes any sense.
I would like to see some of that stuff. But
well, it's like when those people go in the safaris and then they're in the
that's
cars.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and then the fucking shit just like lays on the car and they're like, oh, what are we going to do, Dave?
The goddamn lion like just chilling and blocking your path, and then what are you going to do? You're going to get out? No, because there's fucking probably three or four, probably more than 3 or 4, probably 8 of them sitting over there.
Yeah, so like I would think, how does that work? I don't want to say how does it work, but
God's come is crazy.
Oh yes, I'm glad you.
No. You don't even know what I'm talking about.
I know exactly what you're talking about. He's talking about cheese curds.
No, he's not.
He is.
He's talking about jalapeno ranch is one of the few things better than God's come.
Oh, but I know what. I'm not going to say it, but GC is. I know what that is. That terminology.
I don't know.
I've heard him say it before.
Okay, that's fine. I don't know what it is.
You
know what? I don't want to know.
I don't know what it is, but I've heard the term.
We just got a new pope, and I don't think we need to be doing.
You know what?
That.
You're right. Let's not. Yeah.
You know what? The thing that I saw like before coming over here, these motherfuckers are complaining that he did a speech, and he did it in Spanish, Latin, and Italian. And they were like, he's American. He should be doing it in his native language. It's like, hold up. This ain't about you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like,
doesn't even make any sense.
No, it makes perfect sense because that's what certain Americans think. Like, everything's about them, and it's not. And, bro, we live in a world of people who are different and different cultures and
I wouldn't expect.
I don't understand how people don't understand that, and they only think their shit is the thing.
Yeah, no, But me personally, it's crazy people think that because when you think about it,
he's from Chicago.
Yeah, he's from Chicago, Chi-Town, Bear Down. I said that too.
And they looked this up. He's got black grandparents.
All right, I didn't know all that.
Why'd you say it like that?
Well, I was not expecting you to say that. It's the last thing I expected you to say.
I don't want to fuck it up. I could look it up, but his grandfather.
I was like, yeah, I thought you were going to say something about like some crazy misdemeanor charge or something.
Louisiana or some shit. I don't know. Either way, I don't know if I talked about this before, but back in the day, you were either black or mulatto, which could sometimes be conflated into the same thing. If you weren't pure white, then you were not them.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I know how that works.
So at one point when they left the South, I think his father or his I don't remember how it goes. I just saw this earlier today, so I don't know the exact details. But when they fled from the South to the North, which is how he ended up in Chicago, they put on their paperwork that they were white because they looked white. And that was to not attract any extra attention to the fact that they were not white.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I mean.
So then now it's like many years later, now this is what, and I don't know.
That was just.
It's kind of interesting.
It is interesting.
I would never. First of all, I was thinking. Here's the other thing I was thinking the other day. Is it me or do popes not last very long?
I feel
because I think I've probably seen 4 popes in my lifetime.
Well, they are typically older when they're elected pope. So
yeah, but not that goddamn old.
Well, I know the one that just passed. I know he was put in back in like 2008 or 9 or something like that.
Oh, I'm gonna get to that, Epic. Give me a second. What you saying? Bro, stop fucking doing that.
Excuse me. I'm done. Anyway, but other than the one that just passed away, I can't think of another pope. Maybe because I was too young. But no, since they're typically older, it kind of makes sense a little bit.
Yeah,
to a degree.
I guess I just.
Oh, but what a very fascinating thing, real quick, before you get to what Epic was going to say, is that when they announced the new pope, there's a lady in the crowd from Pittsburgh waving the terrible towel. I thought that was awesome.
That is very uncouth.
It seems holy enough to me, so I'll allow it.
It's not holy at all. It's actually probably. You know what it is? It's actually blasphemy.
You know what?
Because you know why?
Let's not get into this.
Worshiping false idols.
I don't know I don't know the intention behind taking the towel there. Maybe it's the only towel that they have. I don't know.
Worshiping false idols.
Doesn't matter. That was cool. Shout out to that lady. All right, go ahead. I'll let you guys.
And just like you are doing right now, if you're a religious person and you put football over fucking everything else, you're worshiping a false idol.
No,
just saying.
Not at all.
Anyway, so I wasn't going to talk about it until he brought it up because I forgot that he was this. But there's this trend on TikTok where apparently black people are saying, I don't know, I only saw one video, but it's being corroborated by a bunch of other people, that gingers are black people.
Oh, okay. All right. All right. I want to hear.
I like how you laughed at that.
Well, you're just full of pulling whatever out. Well, it's 2025. I don't know what Jared's going to say now.
Hey, bro, this is not me.
Just told me the white pope from Chicago had black grandparents, and now he's telling me gingers are potentially African American.
Well, but this is proof that whatever these motherfuckers are trying to do to this country,
oh my god,
it's not going to work because we're already past the bullshit.
Well, it doesn't matter. But where does the ginger aspect come in? I want to know more about this.
So I will give you my understanding of why, and maybe Epic can chime in. But and I didn't learn this until I started watching Bad Friends, which is a podcast with Bobby Lee and Andrew Santino. Andrew Santino's a ginger. Bobby's obviously Asian. Hi, Bobby Mom.
Dude, that's the funniest fucking...
I know you love that shit.
Dude, that shit is way too funny. I can't get away with that stuff.
But, yeah, because you're not a comedian. If you were a comedian, you could... Well, let's put a funny, well-known comedian. You could get away with it.
Yeah, you can't just be yelling racial epithets.
Yeah.
People are going to look at you funny.
And he does Asian shit all the time. But anyway, so that's the thing going around. And then I've seen a couple, and then so well, Epic's saying he's like 4 people have sent him the videos, and he doesn't understand it. So I'm gonna give you my understanding of what I think. And maybe because the area you live in might not have as many people that look like me, but
Of color.
You don't have to say all that.
Jesus. I'm sorry I said that. Continue.
You might as well say colored people.
I'm not going to say that. Jesus Christ, no.
So anyway, so Andrew Santino, and he always said, like, him growing up, he would get made fun of, and just because he had red hair and all kinds of things. And a couple of videos I saw of women, and they were all hot, by the way. They were saying, like, they got sexualized very early on. Like, one person was like, at 14, they got asked, does the carpet match the drapes type stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, a grown man saying that to a 14-year-old.
There are a lot of sick motherfuckers in the world, dude.
But so there's that stuff, and then there's like, anyway, so because they've always, and people tell Andrew Santino all the time that he's black, just because he's into hip hop and all that shit, but it's because of what's the word? What's the fucking word that I'm looking for? Not
the parallels?
No, the marginalization.
Marginalization.
That was not the word, but because they get bigotry, because there's a lot of bigotry or just fucking weird shit that people say to gingers. That's where this comes from, and you look in the comments, and black women and Asian women and Latino women are all like, yo, we fucking love redheads. Redheads are our favorite people. And thinking about high school, I'm like, any redhead friend, like girl friend that I knew in school, they were all hanging around like the black folks. You know what I'm saying? So I guess they've always gravitated just because of the like they're going through the same kind of bigotry, I guess.
Yeah, no. So I see where that where that potential parallel could be drawn, or that line or whatever. I thought there was like when you initially said it, I thought there was like some like kind of science that backed it. I was like, wait,
no.
So I was like, holy shit.
So then, like, the thing with Andrew Santino, he's from Chicago.
Okay.
It's funny we're talking about Chicago with the Pope. Andrew Santino's from Chicago. He grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. He got along with pretty much everybody. But if there was another blonde-haired kid in the neighborhood, he probably wouldn't be down with everybody as much because I don't know, man. There's just like this unspoken thing, and somebody voiced it, and like now people are thinking it. And then some of the people, like the girls, especially the women, I should call them women because they're women. They were like, "Oh my God, I'm so excited, and thank you for like." And then this one chick broke it down perfectly. I should have fucking saved the video, but she broke it down perfectly. She was like, "By no means am I saying that we go through the same thing as black women or black people in this country, but we get a tiny sample of what they go through." And so that's where, and she said it so perfectly that it made perfect sense. But that's where this whole thing comes from. I don't know if I'm explaining it correctly, Epic, but
no, I get exactly what you're saying. What I was gonna say is when
you gotta remember they're a minority too.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying they're not, but I've known a few redheads, whether man or woman, in my life, and I've never really, well, obviously I'm going to sound stupid. Obviously, I've never seen somebody experience that, obviously, or I've never heard anybody talk other than like, the classic joke, like, oh, gingers have no soul kind of thing, from South Park.
Bro, that's part of it.
I understand that, but that's like the only. But nobody like went up to anybody.
What do
and
you mean?
said
That's
this.
the only thing. If you went up to
The only
somebody,
thing that
hold on.
Oh no, you're not letting me finish. Hold on. Yeah.
If you went up to if I came up to you and said you have no soul, how would that make you feel?
I understand that, but what I'm saying in terms of all the things that could be said to somebody, that's the only thing I could think of initially. I'm not saying that's it. But that's the only thing I could think of. But I've never seen somebody go up and personally say it to somebody. That's all I was saying.
No, but
I'm sure there's all sorts of horrible names that they can be called.
They've gotten. I'm telling you, they get bullied in school just because of their fair skin. And again, it's not the social. Think about this: blonde hair, blue eyed white women want to tan. They want to be. They hate their pale skin. So they try to darken it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So then they shun redheads because they got the fair skin. You know what I'm saying? But then this is what I'm getting from these other people who were actually talking about their experience. Black women will come up to them and be like, "Oh, but I love your skin. It's like porcelain." And this, that, and other, like admiring their skin. You know what I'm saying? As opposed to a blonde hair, blue eyed person would be trying to darken their skin because they're ashamed of themselves being pale, which this led me to a whole nother fucking realm of thinking. Not these people, that's crazy. Certain people do things to someone that doesn't look like them because they don't like themselves. They hate their self. We always talk about how black people have self-hatred in the black community. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but black people will have self-hatred. They hate themselves. That's why they want to do this, and they want to be in these white spaces and this, that, the other thing. But what hit me today was like, yo, nobody's talking about white self-hate. Like, what if the reason that they do the crazy shit they do as far as colonization and fucking lynching and whatever the fuck, all the stuff that's been going on, that has gone on throughout the world, throughout time, in this country, what if it's because they hate themselves and they hate what other people are? You know what I'm saying? They feel like, I don't know how to explain it.
No, I mean, it's possible. That way of thinking, in not your way of thinking, but the way of thinking, especially if you're, committing some, heinous act of, discrimination, people that think and do things like that, they have to have an IQ lower than 10, let alone, 50 or something of that. It just takes a very narrow mind to really do something like that. And put it this way, when I was a kid, the summertime comes along, the pools open up.
Yeah, Epic. Y'all can see your veins.
Getting a tan was just the kind of not for guys, but it's just like, oh, hey, you got a tan. It's like, oh, hey, your tan looks nice. Like, I never, me personally, was like, oh, I want to, look like, you or anybody else. It was just, at least from my perception of getting a tan over the summertime.
Think about this.
I'm not saying other people don't think differently.
No, I know what you're saying. But how about, why do tanning salons exist?
That is a good question.
Why is it that when bodybuilders go on stage, they fucking bleach their skin orange? Basically, not orange, but it basically looks orange.
The orange hue too.
Yeah, because it's fake tan.
Yeah, I know.
They do it because darker skin reflects the light better, so it makes them look more ripped and whatever. But again, these are. But a black bodybuilder can go up there and not have to do that shit. They just put a bunch of oil on and he's good. You know what I'm saying?
Here, can you? You got me thinking. Why did they invent tanning salons? Yeah, is it the reason you brought it up?
I don't know. I mean, I could look. I don't think we're going to get any real answer.
Well, I'm just kind of curious, but that's a good question. It's like, hey, why did they invent them? I don't fucking know. I mean, you can literally go outside and get a tan. You know, that's the only way.
Well, it depends on the area. You can't just go.
Well, this is true.
You can't be in Canada.
I'm being a little narrow-minded when I say that. Yeah, you can't go to certain parts of the world and expect to get a tan, and, you know, like you would on the beach somewhere, obviously. Say, why were tanning salons created? Oh, man. Invented.
Oh, tanning beds.
The tanning beds were not initially invented for beauty purposes, but rather for medical reasons and the study of photobiology. In the 1920s, artificial UV rays were used to treat diseases like rickets and tuberculosis. Later in the 1970s, tanning beds gained popularity as a means of achieving a tan, particularly in the U.S., due to the rise of the beach culture and the beauty ideal of the sun-kissed complexion. Oh, okay.
That last part seems a little...
Seems a little whitewashed.
The sun-kissed complexion.
I mean...
Some of these motherfuckers be coming out there looking like they fucking been working in the fields.
Well, dude, some people are over-excessive with it. Why, I don't know. But you're right. Some people are...
I told you why.
Yes. Well, I also think those are the same people that inject things into their ass, inject things into their lips.
Not necessarily, not all of them.
Not everybody, but I think people that do that, I agree with you. I think they hate themselves and the way they look to some degree. Now, you can be, you know, you can't change who you are, but there are things you can do to improve yourselves. Like if you want to gain muscle, work out. If you want to have better cardio, run. If you want to, you know, whatever. But there are certain things you can do. It's like if you want to look a little more toned, like skin-wise, yeah, you could get a tan. But the people that go out and do these things in excess, they live in their head like they have to. They must think that somebody somewhere or some form of trauma has led them to believe that they need to look like somebody else to fit in. And that's the hard part about it, because it's a psychological thing at that point.
I think you just proved exactly what I was saying. So the same reason that...
Well, I was agreeing with you.
Okay. All right. Yeah, it was the roundabout way to agree with me, but yeah. They're just not happy with themselves. And then if you have power and money, you have the capabilities to make sure that the people who look like you wish you looked are not around.
Maybe we should just do a lobotomy on somebody at this point. What I was going to say, no, but at the same time, man, like, it's just weird. Like, I don't think all these people essentially want to look like somebody else. They don't want to look like themselves.
Epic, I don't mind pale or fair skin. I don't mind it. Well, again, I'm probably more, this word is bad to use these days. I'm probably more progressive minded than most people my age, mostly, and who look like me. Just because I don't give a fuck. Like, if you're cool,
yeah,
I fuck with you.
Yeah.
If you're a fucking dick face, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, 100%.
But other than that, I don't have no like animosity against somebody just because they look a certain way. Like,
yeah, there's a lot of. It's funny you say this.
No, I will say this: people a little overweight. I do have a little issue with that, but only because it's preventable.
Well, anything, I think just this boils into just a lot of things. Your environment is what shapes you in general. And then
Epic, you're 100% correct.
What did he say?
He said, in the Asian culture feels super white skin is the most beautiful. Yeah, that's why. And that's why in America anyway, mostly if there's how can I put this? If an Asian person were to date outside their race, most likely it's going to be with a white person.
Yeah, I could see. Yeah, no, I've seen that. I've also seen the other one. You've seen
different ways.
Yeah,
but you're not understanding.
No, I do understand.
No. Let me finish. You're not understanding how certain cultures can consider one skin color to be darker that everybody else might not think is darker.
Yeah, no, I 100% understand.
Okay. Just
yeah, you know, I know exactly what you're saying, dude. I know how
like
the world works.
Thailand for sure. Sorry to cut you off. You're coughing anyway. Thailand for sure. And I think, actually, no. Yeah, you're right. Most Asian cultures, I'm pretty sure it's Korean. Well, Korean's more like what your job is. If you're a fisherman, you can't be with, because we saw this in Lost. You can't be with a rich, quote unquote, noble person. In Thailand, if you have darker skin, even if you've never worked in the rice field, you're looked down upon because you look like you've been working in the fields.
I got you.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So, like, it's all a matter of perspective, and it's all fucking stupid because we're all still fucking, we have the same lungs, the same fucking heart, the same blood, and it's all fucking dumb. And just some of you motherfuckers are just dumb. And I can't wait to get rid of these. See, I wish I was born like, not now. I think I wish I was in my early 20s right now. Because at least in my lifetime, I will know all these old motherfuckers that I grew up with, that I grew up with now, who've been creating this crazy fucking bullshit separation, are going to be gone soon. But I don't think I'll live long enough for it not to be, to have the time to enjoy these motherfuckers gone, if that makes sense.
I don't know. You never know.
It's not about how I never know. It's about, does it make sense with what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. I
Okay.
do. Yeah, no, like I understood your point when you were initially even beginning it. Like I knew exactly what you were getting.
No,
at.
I get it. But like, okay, go ahead.
No. I didn't do anything. I'm just trying to keep the peace here at the Mad Science Slap podcast.
Keep the peace. I'm just talking.
He's raging. It's like, nah, could you imagine if I was like that? Would you talk to me if I talked like that all the time?
You do.
You know what's crazy? I actually do.
You screamed at me when I fucking came in the door.
Did I?
Bro, you were like, you want to do some drugs?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I did say that.
And you said it loudly. I'm like, why are you screaming at me? He was like, I don't know.
You know what? You're right. That did occur that one time. Just that one time.
That's not the one time.
Well, you know what? It does happen more than one time. It happens every week here where you get your podcasts. That is Apple Music, Spotify, all that good stuff. Every Monday at 9 a.m. sharp for the visual on YouTube. And every Saturday around 6:30 p.m.ish here on Twitch, the Mad Science Slap podcast. I have been devising an idea before we go of a new segment for this podcast.
Did you get my messages about the storyboarding?
Yes, I did. And then I thought about it, but I also have an idea. So I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm just going to show it to you.
I need it.
I'm just going to show it to you when I'm done with it.
Okay, so you are storyboarding it.
I'm doing something completely different, but it's going to be great. Trust me. Because I know what is approaching here in many weeks.
Okay, bro.
Anyway, folks, catch us anywhere you get your podcast.
I can't ever get what I ask for, because I know how I want to create the shit. So I need to see your perspective that way. Unless you don't want to do a storyboard. If you want to write a script, write a script. If you rather write, then write it. But I want to see where your head's at. Because this is both of us, not just you.
This is my idea. I'm just joking. I just wanted to get over and ruffle your feathers, but we will see you guys next week.
What the fuck? You didn't even finish what you were saying.
What was I saying? I can't remember. I honestly can't remember
you
what
said
I said.
Something about what's coming up, and then
I have an idea for a segment. But I don't want to like speak freely. But I just have an idea, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And I'm sorry.
I think you should Say it now.
Well, I think since we do, video game things on this show, and
you do video games.
Richard J, do video game things on this show. I think I'm going to dedicate a segment, since we do have kind of a gaming thing. I'm going to be doing in-depth reviews for certain games when they launch, and I'm going to base them in certain categories, and I'm going to have an overall rating for these games once I'm done with them. So that is just something I've been kind of thinking about. Just like any other.
Okay, so that would be something you would have to record on your own. And then I could edit it into something, but it would be it'd be content for the page.
I can do all sorts of stuff.
Not necessarily in this.
You don't want to talk about video games with your pal RJ, Jared? For 7.5 hours on a sunny Saturday?
No, I just think it would be better served if you did it like this is your thing. You record it, hopefully somewhat clearly, and we could talk about all that. And then maybe I'll edit it, and then we could put it as for on the Instagram, because we don't put shit on the Instagram page anymore, and on the Facebook page. So I'd be for that. It wouldn't necessarily be for this particular show itself, but it would be part of the brand.
The brand. The Mad Scientist brand. We'll see you guys next week.
He always does this. I'm peacing out.
Oh, okay.
Grogu says peace out. Watch Andor. See y'all next week.
Hit you so hard you won't see nothing. Ever.
Audio skulls all day.
The merit scientist lab. The merit scientist lab. The merit scientist lab. The merit scientist lab.
You can't have an opinion on something that you haven't even tried.
Exactly.
The merit scientist